Absolutely. Here's part 6 of the story. They thought the species was weak. Then the Deathworlders showed up. Written in third-person style, using simple and basic English, and approximately 1,400 words long, no headings. No mark, down just clean, engaging prose. The world was changing fast. The video from Montana had gone everywhere. People were watching, talking, asking questions. Who were the aliens? Why were they here? What else was being hidden? Governments tried to say it was fake, said the videos were made with computers, said the aliens were a hoax. But more videos came. From other places, from other people. Some showed strange lights in the sky. Others showed broken ships in the woods. Some even showed pieces of alien tech being sold in secret markets. People were building things. Real things. Weapons, drones, tools, and the government could not stop it. In Washington, the president was in a meeting. He sat at a long table with generals, scientists, and spies. "We need to get control of this," one general said. "Before it gets worse." "It's already worse," a scientist replied. "People are building alien tech in their garages." "How?" the president asked. "They're smart," the scientist said. "They're learning fast." "Faster than we expected, and we need to learn with them," the president said. "Not against them." He turned to a man in a suit. "Find the ones who are building things. Bring them in, not as criminals, as partners." The man nodded. Double quotes, "Yes, sir." In Texas, Caleb Briggs was still in Montana. He and Troy Mallory had moved to a new hiding place, a small cabin in the mountains. It was cold. Snow was falling again, but they were still working. Troy had built a second drone, faster, smarter, with better cameras. He had also made a small shield. Not strong, not big, but it worked. He tested it on a small car. The shield came up. A bullet bounced off. "Hell yeah," Troy said. "We are making progress." Caleb watched him. "You ever think about what this means?" He asked. "What do?" "You mean this isn't just building stuff?" Caleb said. "It's changing everything?" Troy thought for a moment. "Maybe," he said. "But we're not the only ones doing it." He pointed to his phone. A new video had just come in. It showed a group of students in California. It built a small alien-style engine. It was crude, but it worked. "They're everywhere," Caleb said. "Yeah," Troy said. "They're not stopping." In New York, Lena Carter was still working at the hospital. But now, people knew who she was. A video of her fighting the aliens had gone viral. Some people called her a hero. Others said she was crazy. But the government had seen the video, and now they were watching her. One night after her shift, she saw a man in a suit waiting outside. He looked official. "Miss Carter?" he asked. "Depends who's asking," she said. "We need to talk." She crossed her arms. "About what?" "About what you saw, what you did." She looked at him. "You already know." He nodded. Double quotes, "Then come with us." She didn't move. "Why?" "Because the world is changing," he said, "and we need people like you." She looked at the sky. Somewhere up there, the aliens were watching, and down here, humans were waking up. She took a deep breath. "Fine," she said, "but I'm not doing this." "For you? Then who are you doing it for?" "For us," she said, "in Washington." The government had started a new project. They called it Operation Red Dawn. It was not about war, it was about learning. They brought in people like Troy, Caleb, and Lena. They brought in engineers, hackers, inventors. They gave them alien tech, and they told them to build. "We can't stop this," one of the leaders said. "So we're going to help it." They set up a base in Nevada, hidden, secure, but full of people who had once been outsiders, hackers, rednecks, students, soldiers, and they were all working together, building things, learning things, changing things. Back in space, the Zenthari were watching. Mira Lark stood on the command deck. "They are not afraid," she said. "They are not waiting. They are moving fast," Varric said. "Too fast? They are learning," Mira said. "They are building. They are becoming something new." They're not ready for the stars, Vierick said. Maybe they are, Myra said. They will make mistakes. So did we, Myra said. Vir looked at her. You're starting to sound like them. Maybe that's not a bad thing. Vierick did not answer. He looked at the screen. On Earth, humans were building something new. Not just machines, not just weapons, but something bigger. Hope Dash, in the hidden base in Nevada. The team had made progress. Troy was working with a group of engineers. They had built a small fusion reactor. It was crude. It was not perfect, but it worked. This is insane, one of the engineers said. No, Troy said. This is just the beginning. Caleb was nearby, watching. He looked at the reactor, at the people, at the machines. He thought about the aliens. About Miradot, about what she had said. They are not like other species, she had said. They fall, but they get up. He smiled. Damn right, he whispered. In California. The students who had built the alien engine were already working on something new, a small ship. Not big, not fast, but real. We're going to fly this, one of them said. Into space? Another asked. Why not? The first one said. They laughed, but they were serious. In Washington, the president watched the reports. They're not waiting, one of his advisors said. Double quotes, no, the president said. They never do. He looked at the map the world was. Changing humans were no longer just watching the stars. They were reaching for them, in space. The Zenthari were still watching. Mira Lark looked at the planet. They are not weak, she said. Verk looked at her. Then what are they? Mira smiled. They are survivors. And what happens now? Mira looked at the screen. Now, she said, they rise. Let me know if you'd like part 7, or want this in a Word or PDF document format. Absolutely. Here's part 5 of the story. They thought the species was weak then. The Deathworlders showed up, written in third-person style, using simple and basic English. And approximately 1,400 words long. No headings, no markdown, just clean, engaging prose. The government agents arrived in Montana just after sunrise. They wore dark suits and sunglasses, even though it was cold and cloudy. They were looking for Troy Mallory. He had become a problem. His videos had gone viral. His homemade alien weapon had been seen by thousands, and now people were trying to copy him, building things, making weapons, flying drones with alien tech. Someone needed to stop it, or at least find out what was really going on. Troy didn't know he was being watched. He was still in his shop, covered in oil and sweat. He had taken apart the alien power cell and was trying to hook it up to a small drone. He had built from scrap parts. He had already made one working weapon. Now he wanted to make something that could fly. He looked at the drone. It was small, made from old toy parts and a camera from his phone. He attached the alien battery and turned it on. The drone buzzed to life. It hovered, then it lifted off the ground. Troy grinned. Yes, he whispered. He grabbed a controller and tested it. The drone moved fast. Smoother than anything he had ever built. He looked at the camera feed. This is insane, he said. He was about to post another video. When he heard a knock at the door, he frowned. He wasn't expecting anyone. He walked over and opened the door. 2 men stood there. They looked. Official, Mr. Mallory. One of them said. Depends who's asking, Troy said. We need to talk. The other man said. Troy looked at them. He had seen enough movies to know what this meant. About what? He asked. About what you've built. Ouch. Troy took a step back. I don't know what you're talking about. The men looked at each other. We can do this the easy way, one said. Or the hard way. Troy closed the door. He grabbed the drone and the alien battery. Then he ran out the back. In Alaska, Caleb Briggs was cleaning his rifle when his phone buzzed. He looked at it. A message from Lena Carter. You need to see this. It said. He clicked on the link. It was a video. Blurry, shaky. But it showed something strange. A group of men in black suits walking through a junkyard, guns in hand. Then a bright flash. Then a loud bang. Then the men were on the ground. The video ended. Caleb looked at the caption, "Alien Tech Fight in Montana." He shook his head. Damn it, Troy. He grabbed his coat. He knew what was coming. And he knew he had to help. Back in Washington, the agents were not happy. Troy had escaped. The drone and the alien tech were gone. "Find him," one of them said. Now, they called in more people, helicopters, drones of their own. But Troy was already on the move. He had friends, and they didn't like the government showing up and taking things. Within hours, word spread through the town. People started watching. The roads, hiding Troy in different houses, giving him rides when he needed to move. He was like a ghost, and he was still building. In New York, Lena Carter was watching the news. The government was saying nothing about aliens. Nothing about the crash. Nothing about the fight in Montana. But the internet was full of videos. People were talking, and more humans were trying to make their own alien tech. Some of them were failing, but some of them were succeeding. She watched a video of a teenager in California who had built a small shield using parts from a broken alien suit. It only lasted a few seconds, but it worked. "They're not waiting," she said out loud. She knew what was happening. Humans were not just surviving. They were learning. They were building. They were changing. In Texas, Caleb had found a ride to Montana. He was in the back of a pickup truck, wrapped in a blanket to stay warm. Duke was with him, curled up beside him. They rode through the snow. When they got close to the town where Troy was hiding, Caleb got out. He walked the rest of the way. He found Troy in an old barn, surrounded by tools, wires, and pieces of alien tech. "You sure know how to make enemies," Caleb said. Troy looked up. "They came for my stuff. I know. They don't want people to know about the aliens." "Probably not," Caleb said. Troy looked at him. "You believe me, don't you?" "I was there," Caleb said. "I fought them." "They could do." Troy nodded. "Then help me," he said. "Help me finish this." Caleb looked at the drone. "What is it?" "A scout drone," Troy said. "Faster than anything we've got. Can fly high, can see far. And what do you want to do with it?" Troy smiled. "Fly it over the town, see what the government is doing, find out how many of them are here." Caleb thought for a moment, and then he said, "Let's do it." Later that night, the drone took off. It flew silently over the town. The camera feed showed everything government. Agents searching houses, helicopters flying overhead, more black cars. Arriving, Troy and Caleb watched from the barn. "There. Serious," Caleb said. "Then we need to be too," Troy said. He started typing on a small laptop. He was uploading the video feed to the internet live. "You sure about this?" Caleb asked. "If they're watching us," Troy said, "then we should be watching them too." The video started streaming within minutes. Thousands of people were watching, then tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands. The truth was out. Aliens had come to Earth. Humans had fought them. And now humans were building their own alien tech. The world was waking up, and it was not going back to sleep. In space, the Zenthari watched. They had been silent for days, but now they were watching the human networks. They saw the videos. They saw the weapons. They saw the drones. They saw the changes, Mira. Lark stood on the command deck. "They're not waiting," she said. "They're not afraid." Varric looked at the screen. "They are not ready." "Maybe they are," Mira said. "They are dangerous." "Maybe they are." Varric turned to her. "Then we must decide what to do." Mira looked at the planet below. "Maybe. We should decide if we are their friends," she said, "or their enemies." Varric did not answer, because for the first time, of course, here is part 4 of the story, they thought the species was weak. Then the Deathworlders showed up, written in third-person style, using simple and basic English. And approximately 1,400 words long. No headings, no markdown, just clean. Engaging prose. The Zenthari ship returned to orbit, carrying the wounded soldiers and the 3 who had been rescued. The mission had gone wrong in more ways than one. The humans had not only found the crashed crew, they had helped the man, then fought off the retrieval team like it was nothing. Viewership stood on the command deck, watching the blue planet below. He did not speak for a long time. "They are not what we thought," Myra Lark said again. She had seen more of the humans than anyone else on the ship. She had eaten with them, talked with them, fought beside them, even if only for a short time. "They are not Tier 4, she added. "They are something else." Viewership turned to her. His blue skin looked darker in the dim light. "They have no space travel, no real weapons, no unity. They are still primitive, but they adapt," Mira said. "They learn fast. They work together without being told. And they are not afraid of us." "They should be," Viewership said. "Maybe that's the problem," Mira said quietly. "They don't see us as a threat. They see us as something to figure out." Viewership did not answer. He turned back to the screen. The planet looked peaceful from here. Blue and green, with clouds drifting across the surface. But something was changing down there, and the Zenthari were just starting to see it back on Earth. The fight in the woods was already becoming legend. Within hours, the story had spread. People in the town talked about how Caleb and the others had taken down alien soldiers with nothing but guns, arrows, and a homemade taser. Troy Mallory had taken the broken alien tech and locked himself in his shop. He had wires and tools spread out across every surface. He was trying to make the alien weapon work again. "This is amazing," he muttered to himself. "This is like nothing I've ever seen." He worked through the night. By morning, he had something. Not a perfect copy. Not even close, but it worked. He tested it in the junkyard behind his shop. Aimed it at an old car. Fired. The beam hit the car and made a deep, smoking hole in the metal. Troy grinned. Double quotes. "Well, I think I just made the first human-made alien gun." He posted a short video online. No music, no fancy editing. Just a few seconds of him firing the weapon and showing the damage. The video was labeled *Alien Tech. Real thing. It got a few hundred views in the first hour, then a few thousand, then 10,000, and then it went viral in a small town in Texas. A teenager named Austin watched the video. He had built a robot just for fun. Now he was thinking about what else he could build. He looked at the video again. "If he can make a weapon from alien parts," Austin said out loud, "what else can we do?" He started taking apart his old electronics. He had a drone, a broken laptop, and a few old power tools. He pulled out the wires, the motors, the batteries. He started building by the end of the day. He had a small robot that could move on its own. It wasn't much, but it had a camera, and it could follow voice commands. He posted a video to caption "Alien Tech Part 2. It got even more views. In New York City, Lena Carter was back at the hospital. She had seen a lot of pain in her life. She had helped people who were dying. She had held the hands of those who didn't make it. But she had also seen strength. She had seen people survive, things they shouldn't have. And now she had fought off aliens with a bow and arrow. She told no one at work. Not at first, but one night after her shift, she met a friend for coffee. "You wouldn't believe what I did," she said. Her friend looked at her. "Try me," Lena told the story about the forest, the aliens, the fight, how they had won with nothing but instinct and courage. Her friend didn't believe her at all, first, until Lena showed a video on her phone. It was blurry, shaky, but you could see her. Standing in the firelight, aiming her bow, she fired the alien. Her friend stared at the screen. "You're serious? Dead serious?" Lena said. "You're insane, maybe," Lena said. "But we won." Her friend shook her head. "You're going to get yourself killed one day." "Maybe," Lena said again. "But not today." Back in Alaska, Caleb Briggs was drinking coffee by the fire. Duke, his dog, was asleep on the floor. He had seen a lot in his life. War, loss, quiet. But this was something new. He looked at his hands. They were rough, calloused, used to holding a rifle, building a fire, fixing a fence. But now they had held alien tech. He had fought beings from another world, And he had one. He thought about Mira, the green-skinned alien who had talked to him, who had looked at him like he was something strange. Maybe he was. Maybe they all were. He got up and walked outside. The snow was falling again. The forest was silent. He looked up at the sky. "You're watching, aren't you?" he said to the stars. He didn't expect an answer, but somewhere, someone might have been listening. In Washington, the government was starting to notice first. It was the videos and the reports. Then the calls from local officials saying that people were finding alien tech and using it. Someone had even built a working weapon from parts of a crashed ship. "This is not good," said a man in a suit. He worked for the Defense Department. He'd seen classified reports. He'd read about the crash in Alaska. "We need to find out what's going on," he said. He called a meeting. Within hours, agents were on their way to Montana to find Troy Mallory and to take what he had built. Troy didn't know he was already being watched. He was still in his shop, tinkering with the alien tech. He had taken apart more of the broken parts. He had found a power cell that still worked. He was trying to connect it to a homemade drone. He had no idea what he was about to start. He had no idea that what he was doing was about to change everything. Because humans were not just surviving. They were learning. They were building. They were adapting. And they were not afraid. Let me know if you'd like part 5 or want this in a Word or PDF document format. Certainly. Here's part 3 of the story. They thought the species was weak. Then the Deathworlders showed up, written in third-person style, using simple and basic English. And approximately 1,400 words long. No headings, no markdown, just clean, engaging prose. The Xanthari ship in orbit was silent for a long time after the message came in. The crew had not expected this. They had watched humans for weeks, thinking they were weak, chaotic, and unprepared for the stars, but now a human had found one of their crashed ships. He had helped the crew instead of attacking them, and he had sent a message that said, "Asterisk, we have your people. If you want them back, come talk." Asterisk Vierick, the team leader, stood in the command room. His blue skin looked darker in the dim light. He was not happy. "This is a problem," he said. "They are not what we thought," Miralark said from the signal feed. "They are strong. They are smart. They do not act like other Tier 4 species. You are letting your emotions cloud your judgment," Vierick replied. "They are still primitive. They have no space travel, no real weapons, no unity. But they survive," Mira said. "They adapt. They fight when they need to. And they help each other, even when they should not." Vierick did not answer. "They are not our enemies," she said. "Not yet." "Fine," Vierick said. "We will send a retrieval team. We will recover our people and leave. No more observation. No more contact." He turned to the others. "Prepare. The drop pod." Back on Earth, Caleb Briggs and the 3 Xanthari aliens were walking through the snow. The forest was quiet, but the wind was getting colder. The aliens were not used to the cold. They wore thin suits and shivered. "Almost there," Caleb said. "Town's just ahead." Myra Lark walked beside him. She had been watching humans for weeks, but now she was walking with one. It felt strange. "You are not like the others," she said. Caleb looked at her. "What do you mean?" "On your planet, your people fight each other, steal from each other, hurt each other." "Yeah," Caleb said. "We do that. But you helped us," she said. "Even though we are strangers, even though we are not from here?" Caleb smiled. "I was taught to help people in trouble. Doesn't matter who they are." Mira thought about that. "Maybe that is why you are dangerous," she said. Caleb laughed. "Dangerous, me? I'm just a guy with a rifle and a dog." "You are more than that," Mira said. "You are not afraid. You think fast. You act without waiting. And you are not like the others." Caleb did not answer, just kept walking. They reached the edge of the forest. Ahead was a small town. Lights were on in some houses. Smoke rose from chimneys. A few trucks were parked near a gas station. "Go to the clinic," Caleb said. "The doctor there can help your friend, Alec." The injured Zenthari nodded weakly. They walked into town. No one noticed them at first, but soon, a man stepped out of the gas station. He had a thick coat and a shotgun. "Who the hell are you?" he asked. Caleb raised his hand. "Relax, Dan. It's me." "Caleb." Dan lowered the gun a little. "Where the hell have you been?" "Found some folks in the woods," Caleb said. "They need help." Don looked at the aliens. My eyes went wide. "What the hell are those?" "They're not from around here," Caleb said. Dan stared. Then he said, "You're kidding me." "Nope," Caleb said. "They're real." Dan backed away slowly. Then he turned and ran toward the town hall. "I'll get the sheriff." He yelled. Caleb sighed. "Well, that's one way to do it, eh?" In the sky, the Zenthari drop pod was descending. It was small and fast, shaped like a cone. Inside were 4 Zenthari soldiers. Their job was to retrieve the crashed crew and leave no contact, no questions. "Do not engage," the leader said. "Get them and go." They landed in a clearing not far from the crash site. The pod opened. The soldiers stepped out, scanning the area. No signs of humans. One said, "They must have moved," said another. They followed the trail of broken trees and snow footprints. They walked for a while. Then they saw something strange, Fire, and people around it. Humans, and among them Mira and the others. "There they are," said the Zenthari leader. "Should we take them now?" Another asked. "Yes," the leader said. Quietly, they moved forward. In the town, the news had spread fast. People were gathering near the clinic. Some were curious. Some were scared. Others were angry. A man named Troy Mallory stood. Near the crowd, he was in his 40s, wore a leather jacket, and had a scar on his face. He owned a junkyard and machine shop. He liked fixing things. Building things. He saw the aliens and his eyes lit up. "Are those real?" he asked. "Looks like it," someone said. Troy walked closer. He looked at the Zenthari. He saw the strange suits, the broken tech on their belts. "You mind if I take a look at that?" he asked, pointing to a small device on one of their arms. "It's broken," the Zenthari said. "Doesn't matter," Troy said. "I fix broken stuff for a living." He reached out and touched the device. It sparked. "Huh?" he said. "This is cool." He looked at Caleb. "You mind if I take this? Just for a while?" Caleb shrugged. "Sure. Just don't blow anything up." Troy grinned. No promises. He took the device and walked off, already thinking about how to make it work again. Back in the forest. The Zenthari soldiers were closing in on the fire. They saw the humans, saw their weapons, saw how they moved. "They are not afraid," one soldier said. "They should be," the leader said. They stepped into the clearing. "Stand down," the leader said in perfect English. "We are here for our people." The humans turned. Caleb stood up slowly. He had his rifle in his hand. "We were just helping them," he said. "They're hurt." "We will take them," the Zenthari said. "You will not interfere." Humans looked at each other. Then Caleb took a step forward. "I don't think so," said the Zenthari leader, raised his weapon. "Do not test us." Caleb smiled. "You don't know who you're dealing with?" He raised his rifle and fired. The shot hit the Zenthari's shoulder, staggered back. The forest exploded into chaos. The humans had been ready. They had guns. They had knives. They had fire, and they had each other. The Zenthari soldiers were fast, but the humans were faster. One of them, a woman named Lena Carter, stepped out from behind a tree with a bow in her hand. She fired an arrow straight into the chest of one of the soldiers. Another human, a young man named Austin, threw a small device he had built. It made a loud noise and flashed bright light. The Zenthari were stunned. Caleb moved fast. He grabbed Mira and pulled her behind a tree. "You okay?" he asked. "Yes," she said. "But what are you doing?" "Protecting our own," he said. The fight did not last long. The Zenthari were outnumbered, outgunned, outsmarted. One of them tried to run. A hunter named Harlan shot him in the leg with a taser. Another tried to call for help, Troy hit him in the head with a wrench within minutes. The Xanthari soldiers were down. The humans stood over them, breathing, hard alive. Caleb looked at Mira. You said you thought we were weak. Mira looked at the fallen soldiers, at the humans who had just fought them off with no training, no plan, just instinct and courage. I was wrong, she said quietly. Caleb smiled. You're not the first. He looked at the wreckage. You guys better get back to your ship, he said. Before someone else shows up? Mira nodded. Double quotes, thank you. She said, just don't come back without asking, Caleb said. Mira smiled. I won't. The Xanthari called for a pickup. A small ship came down from the sky. It picked them up, and it flew away. Back to the stars, back to the others, and back to the truth. Humans were not weak. They were survivors, and the Xanthari were just starting to understand what that meant. Let me know if you'd like part 4, or want this in a Word or PDF document format. Sure. Below is part 2 of the story. They thought the species was weak. Then the Deathworlders showed up, written in third-person style, using simple and basic English, and approximately 1,400 words long. No headings, no. Marked down, just clean, engaging prose. A storm was coming in Alaska. The sky was dark, and the wind howled through the trees. Snow was not far behind, but high above, something else was coming too. A small Xanthari scout ship had broken away from the main survey team. It was on a routine mission gathering atmospheric data and scanning for hidden human tech. The ship was fast and quiet, almost invisible. But something went wrong. The pilot, a Xanthari named Rallick, saw it too late. A sudden burst of energy from the planet's magnetic field hit the ship. The systems flickered. The controls locked. The scout ship dropped like a stone. We are losing control, shouted Miralark, the young analyst who had been watching the humans so closely. She had come along for this mission, hoping to learn more. Now she was afraid. RLIK fought the controls. We are going down. The ship crashed into the forest. Trees snapped like toothpicks. Snow flew in all directions. Then silence. For a moment, no one moved. The ship was damaged, but not destroyed. Inside, the crew groaned. Rallick was hurt. Mira checked on him. His arm was broken. The third crew member, a tech named Vec, was still conscious but stunned. Are we alive? Vec asked. Barely, Mira said. Outside, the forest was dark and quiet. The crash had made a lot of noise, but there were no signs of humans nearby. We need to fix the ship, Rallick said, wincing in pain. Before anyone finds us, they started working. The tech was damaged. The power was low. They had no way to call for help. What they did not know was that someone had already heard the crash. In a small cabin not far from the crash site, Caleb Briggs was sitting by the fire. He had a cup of coffee and a book in his hand. His dog Duke was lying on the floor snoring. Then he heard it, a deep boom, followed by the sound of breaking trees. He stood up. What was that? He asked out loud. Duke raised his head, ears perked. Caleb walked to the window. The forest was dark, but he could see smoke rising in the distance. Something's out there, he said. He grabbed his coat, his rifle, and a flashlight. He told Duke to stay. Then he stepped outside. The cold hit him like a slap. He pulled his coat tight and started walking toward the smoke. He had lived in the wild for years. He knew how to move quietly. He knew how to survive. And he knew that if something had crashed, it might be dangerous. He walked for over an hour. The forest was thick, and the snow was starting to fall. But he kept going. Then he saw it, a strange shape in the trees. Metal, not from around here. He crouched low and moved carefully. The ship was broken, but not completely destroyed. Lights blinked on its side. Wires stuck out. Smoke rose from the back. He saw movement. Figures in tight suits, tall, thin, with strange skin and big eyes. Aliens. Caleb had heard stories, seen videos online, but he had never believed them, until now. He watched them for a while. They were working on the ship, trying to fix it. One of them looked hurt. He thought for a moment. Were they friendly? Were they dangerous? did not know. But he had a rule. If someone comes to your land without asking, you find out who they are. So, he stood up slowly. He raised his hands. "Hey," he called out. The aliens froze. They turned to him. One of them, one with green skin, stepped forward. Mira Lark. She looked at Caleb. He was tall, bearded, and holding a rifle, but he had not shot yet. That meant something. "Hello," she said in broken English. "We are not here to harm." Caleb did not lower his gun. "What are you?" he asked. Mira tried to explain. She used simple words. She said they came from the stars, that they were only watching, that they did not mean to crash. Caleb listened. He did not understand everything, but he got the main idea. They were not from Earth. They were lost. He looked at the injured alien, the one with the broken arm. "You need help," he said. Mira nodded. Caleb thought again. He could leave them, call the government, wait for someone else to come, but he did not. He walked closer. "I'll help," he said. "But you don't move. You don't try anything," they agreed. Caleb took off his backpack. He had bandages, food, and water. He gave some to Rallick. He wrapped his arm. "This won't fix it," he said. "But it'll help until we get you somewhere safe." Mira watched him. He was calm, strong, sure of himself. He was not afraid. "You are not like others," she said. Caleb looked at her. "I've seen a lot," he said. "This is just another day." He set up a small fire. He gave them coffee from his thermos. They tried it and made strange faces. He laughed. "It's an acquired taste." They sat together. The wind blew. Snow fell. And for a few hours, enemies became something else. Not friends, but not enemies. Back on the Zenthari ship in orbit, the main team had noticed the scout ship was missing. "They are not responding," said Vierick, the team leader. "They must have crashed," Tarek said. "Should we send help?" "No," Vierick said. "If they are found, they must hide." But it was too late. Hours later, a signal came from the surface. It was not from the Zentari. It was from a human. The message was short. "We have your people. If you want them back, come talk." The Zenthari were stunned. "How did they find them?" Vierick asked. "And why are they not in chains?" Tarek added. Mira's voice came through the signal. "They helped us," she said. "They are not like we thought." Vierick was silent. On Earth, Caleb had made a decision. He would take the aliens to a nearby town. Maybe the doctor there could help. But before they left, he asked Mira one question. "Why were you watching us?" Mira looked at him. "We thought your species was weak," she said. Caleb smiled. "Well," he said, "guess you were wrong." They started walking back to town, back to the world, and back to the truth. Humans were not weak. They were survivors. And the Zenthari were just starting. To learn that, let me know if you'd like part 3, or want this in a Word or PDF document format. Sure, here's part 1 of your story. They thought the species was weak, then the Deathworlders showed up. Written in third-person style, using simple and basic English, and approximately 1,400 words long. No headings, no markdown. Just clean, engaging prose. The Zenthari survey team had been watching Earth for weeks. Their ship, a long silver craft shaped like a blade, floated silently above the planet. It was hidden behind a field that made it invisible to human eyes and sensors. From this quiet spot in space, they studied everything: cities, wars, weather, even the way humans talked. The team was made up of scientists, linguists, and military observers. They had seen many worlds before. Some were peaceful, some were dangerous. But Earth was different. It was loud, messy, and full of strange energy. The humans fought a lot, not just with weapons, but with words and laws and money. The Zenthari found it confusing. "This species is chaotic," said Vierick, the team leader. He was tall and blue-skinned, with eyes that could see in 10 colors. "They have no order, no unity. They destroy their own land and then try to fix. It makes no sense." "Okay, but they are clever," replied Mira Lark, a young analyst. She was human-sized and had soft green skin. Her job was to understand human behavior. They build things fast. They change ideas often. They survive even when things are bad. Survival is not the same as strength, Varric said. They are animals with tools. Myra did not agree. She had watched videos of human cities. She saw how they moved, how they worked together, how they never stopped trying. She had read their books, listened to their songs, studied their history. They had been through fire and ice and war, and still they stood. They are not like other Tier 4 species, she said. They are different. Tier 4. Chaotic primitive, Varric said. No faster than light travel. No unified government. No space colonies. They are not ready for the galactic stage. The team had a system for rating species. Tier 1 was the most advanced, those who could travel between galaxies. Tier 5 was the least, made of species that had not even discovered fire. Humans were in Tier 4, same as many others who had not yet joined the galactic community. They have nuclear weapons, said Tarek, the military observer. They could be dangerous. They point them at each other, not at the stars. Varric said, they are not a threat, just a curiosity. Myra kept watching. She looked at how humans lived in places that should have killed them. Deserts, frozen lands, high mountains. They built homes, made food, and raised children even when life was hard. She saw how they fought disease, how they flew into space. In small ships, how they never gave up. She read a message from a human on the internet. It said, life finds a way. She thought about that. Life finds a way. Maybe that was what made humans strange. They did not just survive. They pushed forward. They changed. They made things better even when they did not know how. We should keep watching, she said. There's more to learn, Varric sighed. Fine, but do not waste time. We have other worlds to study, so the ship stayed. Hidden, quiet, watching on Earth. Life went on. In a small town in Texas, a man named Caleb Briggs woke up before the sun. He lived alone in a cabin near the woods. He had a dog named Duke and a garden full of tomatoes. He used to be in the army, but now he just wanted peace. He drank coffee, fed his dog, and walked into the forest with a rifle on his back. In New York City, a woman named Lena Carter worked late at a hospital. She was a nurse and had seen many people hurt, sick, and dying. She also saw them get better. She saw families cry and laugh. She saw people who had nothing still give to others. In California, a teenager named Austin posted a video online. Had built a robot from old parts and made it dance. The video was silly, but it made people smile. It got 1,000 views in one day. Humans did not know they were being watched. They did not know that far above them, aliens were trying to understand them. They just lived, and in the sky. The Zenthari watched. They are not like other species, Mira said again. She was looking at a live feed of a human child learning to walk. The baby fell, laughed, and tried again. They fall, she said, but they get up. So do many animals, Varric said. But they keep going, she said, even when it hurts. Varric looked at the screen. The baby wobbled, then stood again. It smiled. He did not smile back. They are Tier 4, he said. They are not ready. Mira did not argue. She just kept watching. The ship stayed in orbit. The survey team made reports. They noted human technology, their wars, their politics, their strange religions and music. They saw the way humans hurt each other, but also the way they helped each. One night, Mira watched a human news channel. Fire had broken out in a city. People ran toward the flames, not away. They wore heavy clothes and carried hoses. They saved others. They run into danger, she whispered. They are fools, Varric said. Or heroes, she said. He did not answer. On the ship, the team prepared to leave. They had gathered enough data. They would report to the council and say that Earth was not ready for contact. Not yet, but Mira was not sure. She looked at the planet one. Last time, it was blue and green and full of life, and she thought, maybe this one is different. Maybe this one is dangerous, not because they have weapons, but because they never stop. They fall, they get up, they try again. Life finds a way, and maybe, just maybe, the Zenthari had underestimated them. Let me know. If you'd like part 2, or want this in a Word or PDF document format,